Iceland, a land of fire and ice, is truly an amazing country, lying at the junction of the North Atlantic and Arctic Oceans. The capital and largest city is Reykjavik. Reykjavik and the surrounding areas in the southwest of the country are home to over 2/3 of the population. Icelandic culture is founded upon the nation's Scandinavian heritage. Most Icelanders are descendants of Norse and Gaelic settlers. Iceland is one of the youngest land masses on the planet, and consequently home to some of the world's most active volcanoes. The island owes its existence to the large volcanic fissure in the mid-Atlantic ridge, where the Eurasian and American tectonic plates meet. Iceland is geologically and volcanically active. The interior consists of a plateau characterized by sand and lava fields, mountains and glaciers. Iceland has many geysers, including geysir, from which the English word is derived, and the famous Stokkur, which erupts every 8 to 10 minutes. Even today, the country is growing by about 5 centimetres per year, as it splits wider at the points where the two tectonic plates meet. According to an ancient manuscript, the settlement of Iceland began in 874 AD, when a Viking chieftain established the first permanent settlement on the island. In the following centuries, more Norwegians and to a lesser extent more Scandinavians immigrated to Iceland. Iceland has a market economy with relatively low taxes. It maintains a Nordic social welfare system that provides universal healthcare and tertiary education for its citizens. Iceland ranks high in economic, democratic, social stability and equality, currently ranking first in the world by median wealth per adult. In 2018, it was ranked as the 6th most developed country in the world by the United Nations Human Development Index, and it ranks first on the Global Peace Index. Iceland is a Nordic island country with a population of around 400,000 and an area of 103,000 square kilometres, making it the most sparsely populated country in Europe. On average, a volcanic eruption occurs in Iceland every 4 to 5 years. This isn't surprising, considering the island has between 150 and 200 volcanoes, split into different volcanic systems. In 2010, a large volcano in the south of Iceland erupted for the first time since 1821, forcing 600 people to flee their homes. Additional eruptions forced hundreds more people to abandon their homes as well. The resultant cloud of volcanic ash brought major disruptions to air travel across Europe. The climate of Iceland's coast is subarctic. The warm North Atlantic current ensures generally higher annual temperatures than in most places of similar latitude in the world. Iceland's economy has been diversifying into manufacturing and service industries in the last decade, including software production, biotechnology, and finance. Industry accounts for around a quarter of economic activity, while services comprise close to 70%. Iceland runs almost completely on renewable energy. Renewable sources, geothermal and hydropower, provide effectively all of Iceland's electricity. Renewable energy accounts for approximately 85% of the nation's total primary energy consumption, with most of the remainder consisting of imported oil products used in transportation and in the fishing fleet. With the widespread availability of geothermal power and the harnessing of many rivers and waterfalls for hydroelectricity, most residents have access to inexpensive hot water, heating and electricity. Iceland is the world's largest electricity producer per capita. Iceland is one of the few countries that have filling stations dispensing hydrogen fuel for cars powered by fuel cells. It is also one of the few countries currently capable of producing hydrogen in adequate quantities at a reasonable cost because of Iceland's plentiful renewable sources of energy. The tourism sector is expanding, especially in ecotourism and whale watching. On average, Iceland receives around 1.1 million visitors annually, which is more than 3 times the native population. 1.7 million people visited Iceland in 2016, 3 times more than the number that came in 2010. Due to Iceland's spectacular wild and beautiful scenery, tourism is bound to grow even more in the future. Many fjords punctuate Iceland's approximately 5,000 kilometre long coast, which is also where most settlements are found. Iceland is a fascinating country, so different to Australia in so many ways, from their culture to climate to their way of life, not to mention the most unusual, incredibly wild and beautiful landscape to be found anywhere. To experience this island country is something to treasure.